There are 1,000 reasons why Russia is not going to invade Europe. 1,000 reasons why this hysteria is both wrong, utterly self-defeating, putting Europe into a mindset that is economically destructive because you're breaking one of the most important economic relations that this union needs, which is with Russia. I don't believe any of these breaks is irrevocable, but of course, they're all extremely dangerous and difficult to put back together, so I would like the diplomacy to get started sooner rather than later. And I would like the question you asked me, I would like European leaders to discuss this with Xi Jinping also. What is your view, President Xi, about our relations with Russia? Where is security going to come in this multipolar world? Good question. I'd love for European leaders to ask President Putin, we're worried about this. What can we do to establish indivisible security on our continent once again? A claim that we adopted in Helsinki, Final Act. What can we do? I'd like to know the answers, the thoughts about that. By the way, the Russian foreign minister is the single most talented foreign minister in the whole world, Mr. Lavrov. He is an encyclopedia of modern history. He is an extremely impressive interlocutor. It just wouldn't hurt if someone in Europe spoke with him. You might learn something. He's very smart and very interesting and knows the history intimately. And it would be a very good, very fascinating discussion and an important one. So these questions need to be asked. Of course, not to me, but between the leaders. What can we do to build security? I'm not against a military deterrent, by the way, but it's the last point. And the idea that we're going to be military superpower, this is so wrong-headed completely. Peace through strength means annihilation through mutual destruction, that's all. Peace through strength is just about the dumbest slogan of the war industry. Peace through disarmament, peace through mutual respect, peace through negotiation, peace through good sense. Those all make sense. So, when it comes to the Monroe Doctrine, it is so completely different from what people seem to think it is. The Monroe Doctrine was a message to the Congress by James Quincy Adams in 1823 that has a few paragraphs on foreign affairs where it says, in the aftermath of the wars of liberation of the Spanish colonies, that European powers should not come to establish new colonies in the Americas. That's what the Monroe Doctrine says. And it says in the paragraph that follows that the United States will not meddle in the affairs of Europe. It's both reciprocal and it is about Europe not establishing new colonies in the Americas. That's the Monroe Doctrine, 1823. There was the Roosevelt corollary in Theodore Roosevelt, not Franklin Roosevelt. And the Roosevelt corollary, because this was the high imperialism moment of the United States until now, was that the US will be the policeman of the Americas. This was the corollary of the Monroe Doctrine, that the US will police the Americas if there's egregious bad behavior. We will take charge because we're the regional hegemon. And this was in the aftermath of an event in 1902 when Venezuela defaulted on its debts and European gunboats came and shelled Caracas Harbor to get debt payments started again. And Roosevelt said, we'll take care of it now. And from then on, the US toppled governments in Latin America for the next 28 years until the sixth cousin of Theodore Roosevelt came to power, Franklin Roosevelt, and he essentially rescinded the Roosevelt corollary with what was called the good neighbor policy, where he said the United States will not unilaterally intervene in the affairs of the Americas. And under Roosevelt and following, they built the institutions of what became the Organization of American States. And the idea was a mutual collective security, but not American unilateral intervention. Didn't last very long. In 1954, we overthrew the government of Guatemala, incidentally, because they were trying to do a land reform which went against United Fruit Company, which was represented by the law firm of Sullivan and Cromwell, which was the law firm of John Foster Dulles, whose brother was Allen Dulles, the head of the CIA. So this was just business, ladies and gentlemen, nothing more than business. And John Foster Dulles, remember what Churchill said about him, dull, duller, Dulles. This is what transpired. So Trump has his own corollary that has nothing to do with the Monroe Doctrine, and maybe spins a yarn from the Roosevelt corollary. And Trump's doctrine in the national security strategy last year is, we own the Americas, thank you. That's the summary. We will determine who you trade with. We will determine who gets investment. We get the first rights on any deals. We don't tolerate Hong Kong companies, Hutchison of all companies. The owner is a Canadian citizen, by the way, Hong Kong. We don't take the security threat of port services by a Hutchison company in the Panama Canal. We are the United States. Of course, we reserve the right to have military bases in 80 countries around the world, but we don't accept a port services company in the canal zone. Could someone other than a Columbia professor call bullshit? Come on, please. A collective bullshit. Okay, this is what we're facing. This is just, it's true. It's so stupid, it's unbelievable that grown-ups do this. And they kill people as a result of this. And then your leaders say, that's normal, Daddy. We love you. Come on. So it's nothing to do with the Monroe Doctrine. It is some fantasy of hegemony, but of the crudest sort. Roosevelt, even, he said in I think it's 1905 or 1904, I think it's 1905, he said, of course, we'll only do this in extremis. You know, countries should take care of themselves. Trump says, in extremis, we do it when we want. You want to make a deal, you come to us first. Literally, it's said in the doctrine. We get first rights on every deal in this continent. This is crazy. This will not stand, but it will make a mess for quite a while. So that's what that is.